pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sherry's not here tonight, just so everybody knows her mother passed away yesterday, and Dave from KOH is out of town, and he was gonna call in for the meeting, but he got called into a meeting, so he's not gonna make it. But we will
Try to survive.
try to survive and move forward. Hopefully I don't screw it up. I got the minutes from last month, they're from actually February.
I had no comments. I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I'll second it. Motion's been made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Financials. The bank balance at the end of March was $59,490.56. The bills to be paid are, we've got 2 months of KOH bills, $2,084, Sherry $261.50, and Yablonsky, Costello, and Lecky's $800. The motion to accept the financial statement.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Is there a motion to pay the bills which I've already read?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The infamous solicitor's report.
Other than some email exchanges that I think everyone was included on about the Cecil Township meeting, that ultimately the conclusion was that I didn't need to attend, which I agree with. I didn't have anything going on.
Motion to accept the solicitor's report. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And in our packet is the engineer's report. About the only other thing that I think was new is one that we're gonna later on talk about a resolution to apply for PA Small Water and Sewer Program Grant, and then I'll fill you in, Brian and I can both fill you in on our meeting in Cecil.
I'll make a motion to approve the engineer's report as submitted.
I'll second it. Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. RC, you have any words of wisdom for us?
Not this time.
Old business, we pretty much know about the permitting and financing. New business. We'll come back to our meeting in Cecil. Brian and I attended, and Dave. Cecil had their solicitor there, who I talked to 2 or 3 times this week. Their engineers, their municipal manager, authority manager, and the meeting went very well. They're wanting to move forward with it. It's a far cry from the way it was originally when Cecil talked. It was a new manager. He's wanting to be progressive.
And I think both sides see the benefit of it being a multi-municipal
Yes.
project. And really whether we give up the rights to Southview or do the rights, and they talked about a 1 meter, and they would
flood.
bill us and then we would bill people. I would rather just give it all to them.
I think eventually that's the way I would rather go to. I have not heard back from Chartier, so I don't know where that one stands, but we're gonna move forward with Cecil. It was a really good meeting.
So is there a downside of them taking it all on for us?
No.
It'd be the same as Smith Township, like you pay your bill in Cherry
Yeah.
Valley, Lakeview Estates to Smith Township Municipal Authority. This would be the same thing. The people in Southview would pay their bill to Cecil. Cecil would be responsible for the upkeep, maintenance, and everything. And in essence, we're relinquishing our rights to sewer that area, and they would.
And if we did it, we'd have to hire people to do billing and all this other stuff, and that all goes to them.
Because they talked about giving us a bulk rate for all the sewer that goes down the pipeline at the municipal boundary.
Yeah.
Since they already have people on staff, in my opinion, it makes sense just to let them handle it and.
And there's no term, it's indefinite.
There'll be a definite.
Yeah.
The only thing I might see is if we extend the sewer line up toward Hickory, how much property? How many farms? That might change.
Yeah, the engineers, their engineers and our engineer was gonna look at, because in the meeting, I literally pulled up a Google map and was counting houses, but they were gonna do an analysis
Yeah.
on how many existing houses in Cecil, how many existing businesses in Cecil, residents in Mount Pleasant to get Southview, and then
To determine the size of the.
And then how far it could extend, because if it stops at Southview, then we could technically still by gravity get all the way up Southview Road, along Route 50 from, in essence, the old Hickory Dickory Dock, and the other way on 50 till you drop down over the hill, could all be
Right.
gravity. The question was, once you get to the Baker Farm on Baker Road, could you get across there anywhere, or do you start bucking grade there and it won't work?
That would be a tough one at that
Yeah,
point.
so they're supposed to be analyzing that, right? Because that was one of our questions there is, how much more area does Mount Pleasant have that could go into this system? There's definitely a lot of vacant land that could go into it.
Well, I think that's why Cecil wants to do it, is because.
Well, they have a lot of vacant land up Galati Road.
The Falcone family owns a ton of property.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the vacant land still left in Cecil that this line would extend to is all owned by the Falcone family. So we know that will be developed at some point.
Yeah.
Now, hypothetically, you put ink to paper today, what kind of time frame would you be looking at till it was operational? 3 years?
Who knows at this point? Only because we'd have to develop a whole new 537 plan
Oh, no
for
sense.
us and for them.
Yeah, we would both have to update our 5730 plans. I think money-wise that was talked about, I think, we would apply for a multi-municipal grant, which we have a better chance at. But I think the money would be there to do it. I think this is the fastest way to get it done.
Well, I'm hoping with DEP being in Southview,
Well, see, that's the
that
other
might
thing.
fast track your 537s.
It should.
Yeah, I think if we can, work through you and DEP to get a little pressure maybe, I think we can get it done faster.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of what I was after, to know if more malfunctions come up, how I'm gonna handle them.
And you know they will.
Oh, yeah.
But being two municipalities trying to get it, with the DEP being down there and kind of laying low at this point, they'll put the pressure on.
Yeah.
And of course, whenever you speak, they're going to listen.
Well, I don't know about that.
But yeah, so and that would take care of that whole area down there. which would be good. Because that really is the worst area we have.
That's what we talked about in the meeting. It doesn't matter if it's wet or dry now. When you drive through Southview,
Yeah,
you smell raw sewage.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't smell it every day in Westland.
Yeah, Southview now, whether it's wet, dry,
Yeah, it's
You smell it.
it's gotten much worse, so,
But then the cattails in Westland make a big difference too.
yeah. So that's where that is at, and we'll move.
So I just have a question.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the grant, right?
Mhm.
So this PA Small Water for 500,000, what do you see as the chance of, or either of you, anybody, of actually getting that? And if so, that 15% match, is that immediately upon receiving it, or is it over a period of time that we have to, like, show that money? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to skirt around anything, but is that 15% match? Like, how does that need to be represented?
That I don't know.
yeah.
Dave has been very involved in
Yeah,
this
Dave was involved in that. I think the 15% match can be done.
over time.
Yeah, and I don't think it has to all be cash. I think some of it can be services. So, what we've spent on engineering, what we spent
Because,
on,
yeah, I was just saying, if it takes this long, do we have this long to, continue to, apply it against that 500,000? Is
Yeah.
what I was just thinking, or, just a question.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. But I think there is time. You never know with these grants what your chances are. I mean, you think they're good whenever you have so many malfunctions and everything that we have, and because it's Southview, but you still never know.
and this is one here where we're just applying on our own for it.
Yeah,
I think as this moves along, there will be other grants that we would apply.
Jointly.
We would apply for jointly with Cecil, that I think we have a much better chance at, in my opinion.
Okay.
and well, I think that's been proven over the last
Yeah.
few years.
And KL.
They've looked favorably on multiple municipality going together and doing things. And that's kind of what I'm looking at that.
Yeah, and KLH is writing it, the grant, or no?
KOH is.
I think they'll be involved.
Yeah.
This one KLH is, but I think the multi-municipal one, I think it'll be a lot of Cecil and us tagging along.
Yeah,
Only because their manager he's very outgoing and seems to be very thorough right now.
yeah.
And they had a similar project with
Lawrence.
Dane or Lawrence,
In
with
Lawrence.
another municipality where because it was multi-municipal, they got a decent sized grant for that.
And I think pretty quickly on that. too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, first thing we have to do is, the solicitor for Cecil Municipal Authority put together an MOU, which I passed out. Very simple one. If you look at it, did you get a copy?
Sorry.
Basically, it's just saying that we're going to continue to work together, commence preliminary discussions, exploratory efforts regarding general plan to provide sanitary sewer service to Southview and the Anthill area. Now, Paul, the Anthill area, that's a street in Southview. Half of it, the left side's Mount Pleasant,
Going up to the baseball field.
one up where, and the right side's Cecil. So, it's crazy.
Yeah, was that their old,
Where the old SMPJ was, so
Yes.
the
Yeah.
old SMPJ is in Cecil.
Cecil.
The houses across the street are in Mount
Mount
Pleasant.
Pleasant, yeah.
Yep.
So that's, yeah. Agree that this memorandum of understanding does not commit either party to commence with any project related to sanitary sewer service or eliminate on-lot systems. The parties agree that this memorandum of understanding only authorizes the parties to engage in exploratory efforts of such projects. So it's a simple one. I talked to Cecil solicitor a couple of times over this, and by the way, they're doing this pro bono. Did you see any problems with it?
No, it really doesn't commit to anything
No.
of substance.
Other than we're gonna.
You're gonna work together, that's it.
So is there a motion to adopt the MOU?
I'll make that motion.
I'd like to second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. I will get that signed and over to them. Is there any other questions about our Cecil meeting at this point? Like I said, we're still trying to get the other side, which is Chartiers. We've been working with them because they're talking about running a sewer line up basically from is that the Legion or VFW down there? Legion, where it ends up to Votech and bringing it on up into Westland. And then we could tap into that. So we thought we were going to have a meeting by now. But,
Yeah, I was on that VOTEC board for 2 years, and that was a common item that was just brought up for, just to alert all of us that they were doing it, that it was gonna run through, or.
and we had, what, 2 meetings last year?
Yeah, I think
2 or 3 meetings last year on it. And then they were talking to some other developers that were looking at doing some development to see if they would come in. And then we were supposed to have another meeting in the spring, which we haven't had yet, so.
Did Mark West ever commit to running it from the VOTEC up? Because wasn't there talk about?
Mark West has holding tanks.
Right.
So they want it.
Okay, so then we get it up to Mark West and the training center, and then potentially our responsibility to get it the rest of the way to
Get us
West.
the rest of the West, yeah.
Yeah, and between the old tire place, the trucking place, and Weston, there's probably 20 lines across that creek.
Yeah, there's a lot of
All
gas
those
lines.
gas lines going
Yeah.
into Mark West.
Yeah. So, but they can work around that because they're doing that down by my place right now where I live because there's gas lines that go across the road and they're going to run a water line.
Yeah.
They're waiting now on that one. They're waiting now to determine are they deep enough that they can go over or do they have to bore under?
You have to bore under.
Typically, our dealing, at least my dealings with Mark West, is anytime you want to deal with them, you're going under. They're not going to let you.
I
do
know
it.
they don't like it.
And then you got to do flowable fill on from your line
To their
line
Yeah.
and above their line, and it gets expensive very quickly.
Yeah. So anyway,
Now, there is a water line in that same area, and there's a water line down by the other side of the fireplace. There was a little veterinary in there, not vet.
Where the
Yeah.
restaurant is, or the
Yeah,
takeout
almost
place?
at the restaurant.
oh, okay.
I travel that way a lot.
So we're still playing with that one. The other thing that Dave asked is that we pass this resolution. It's a declaration of official intent to apply for PA Small Water and Sewer Program Grant. Did you get a copy of that? For $500,000 from Commonwealth Financing. And basically that's what it is.
And this is one that the authorities applied for in the past, correct?
Yeah, and we didn't get it. But since we're basically tying it to Southview, that could help with getting it through the DEP. It's worth a shot.
That's who issues it?
Pardon?
That's who issues the grant?
I think it's through DCED.
DCED,
And
but
the Commonwealth Finance
Yes,
Authorities,
yeah.
the one in charge.
But DEP, they have some say-so, I think. They should anyway. We're trying, RC. We're trying.
I know you are. You've gone leaps and bounds since I first started coming.
Yeah.
I'm tickled to death.
So we need a motion to adopt this resolution to apply for the grant.
I'll make a motion.
Are you gonna make a poll?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Other than that, I have nothing else new at this point. You have anything?
I do not.
You guys have anything?
I do not.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.